had a tough time last week. Like many of you, I suffer from a litany of mood disorders, and I was not in a really good headspace. I'm better now, using lots of my coping mechanisms, but last week was hard. And in the midst of that, my partner and I had published something that then immediately became a lightning rod for some critical feedback. The critical feedback was fair. I don't agree with most of it, but it was given with good faith, and it was the start of an open debate, but I wasn't in a spot where I was ready for it. And because of that, rather than it being constructive or something I could engage with, it was decimating. Destroyed my confidence, made me want to disengage, and I learned nothing from it. I wasn't able to use any of the feedback because I wasn't ready to receive it. A couple years ago, I was co-facilitating a workshop with a friend of mine, Gabe Abella. And during a break, I said, hey, I've got some feedback for you. And he said, not right now. I'm not ready for it. And I was shocked. I didn't know that was an answer you could give. I thought we needed to be almost superhuman as facilitators and coaches and leaders. We need to be, to rise above, always take the high road. If somebody's going to criticize you, you always respond with thanks for the feedback. You find ways to absorb it in and to pick out what's good and fair and to weed out the things that are a little less fair or unkind, but to always accept it. You should always be open. And what I learned from him, and what I've learned from people like Brene Brown, what I've learned from my own experience and my extensive therapist experience, is that it's okay to not be ready for feedback now. It's not okay to stay there forever. I have a parrot, and one of the things I've learned being a parrot trainer now is permission-based training. So parrots, unlike dogs or other species, they don't respond to aggression with submission. So if you try to make a parrot do something, it will not submit. It will respond with aggression. So it will try to bite you, it will try to fight you off, and you will destroy the relationship. You must approach it and ask permission. So there are many times when my parrot's just not having it. She's not into it. She doesn't feel like training right now. And I have to learn how to step back and wait and try again in 20 minutes and see if she's ready then, and trust that eventually she will be, and then we'll be able to engage. I'm practicing, and I would love to see more of us practice permission-based feedback. I love this phrase, let me know when you're ready for feedback. It's awesome. It makes it quite clear that you need to get ready for feedback eventually. It's the healthy thing to do, but also it's on you. So you can pull this feedback when you're ready for it, when you have maybe whip for it. So maybe right now you're overwhelmed with feedback and you can't take one more thing. Maybe you are so focused on something else that the feedback is just gonna like bounce right off you. You won't even hear it. Maybe you're going through something mentally or emotionally where you're not going to be fertile grounds and you need to wait until you can deal with that, and then you'll be ready for feedback. That's all fine. It's great. And asking for permission to give feedback is such a healthy way of engaging because it puts a little bit more power in the other person's hands, makes them more willing to listen to what you have to say, and also allows them to set some boundaries on where they're at and what they're ready to hear. Feedback is such a gift, but it's not a gift if you're shoving it in somebody's face when they're not ready for it. It's really hard on the internet to know how to engage because we're so used to things being put out there publicly and that being the signal to give me feedback. But maybe that's not the case. Maybe that person's not ready for it. Maybe they're just excited for something that they built to share and they need some time to process. Maybe they're having a bad day. Maybe they're having a rough month or a rough year like we all had. So I would encourage all of us to start practicing empathy and permission-based feedback giving, and maybe just give people a break sometimes when it comes to criticizing their work, taking a deep breath, and then making sure that they have space to learn from the things that we want to share with them.